Rights of the Children, or widely known as the CRC, is the convention established in 1989 by the United Nations through its agency, the UNICEF.
In the preamble of CRC, it was mentioned that the act of recognition towards every individual's rights is the fundamental principle which should be assured in order to achieve freedom, justice, and peace in the world. It was also mentioned that through the spirit of freedom, justice, and equality to everyone without distinction of any kind of biological and sociological factor such as race, color, religion, sexual orientation, and such, the United Nations came to an agreement that the protection and promotion of human rights will be incomplete without the proclamation of special care and assistance towards the younger generation. The goal of creating and developing a progressive society and children who can function well and become an asset to the society, CRC is established, and by right, the convention is the only one convention which wholesomely raises issues and principles towards the improvement and preservation of children's rights universally.
The massive achievement on Malaysia for a number of preservation to provision of CRC, which include Article 1 provide a standard definition to all children, same or to all human beings are under 18. Article 2 CRC stress there is no discrimination towards children, and Article 37 say that there is no torture and exposure towards children. CRC accepted in Malaysia on its meeting on 2nd February 2007. Malaysian first report about CRC on 2006. You can see the committee realized that they found a serious attention of the government with CRC requirement. You can refer to the case study, which is Malaysian rapid economic development makes a wide influx of migrant workers from the Asian country, namely Indonesian and Philippines, for labor market. The risk that they will face, especially for the children, they will be exposed to being discrimination and exploitation either in sex service or a labor market. So what's Malaysian government react towards that?
So, let us begin with the efforts taken by the government in handling the issue of child abuse. It provides provisions that address certain rights of child that has been recognized by the government. This act is meant to give assistance to children in presenting their evidence. Since the government has been receiving lots of reports regarding child abuse cases, therefore, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development has taken initiative to setting up toll-free hotline, which is known as Talian Nur, to lessen the burdens of the individual irrespective of problem faced by them, not just only child abuse cases, but also disabled people, elderly, orphanage, and many more. According to Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, Datuk Seri Rohani Abdul Karim claimed that recently the government has established a special court only for children to cater all the cases that related to child abuse. She also urged for this children court to be extended to every state in Malaysia. This issue had all Malaysians shocked because the parents were allegedly found guilty for hitting their children for not performing their prayers. As a Muslim, we are obliged to perform prayers 5 times a day. The Malaysian parents were found guilty and sentenced to prison by the Solna District Court. The parents are also needed to pay for their children's damages. If the parents in Malaysia, they surely wouldn't be arrested and sentenced to prison because Malaysia has long ago been practiced corporal punishment. In Islam, corporal punishment is a form of physical punishment that involves deliberate infliction of pains as retribution for an offense. Also, it can be considered as a form of punishment for the purpose of disciplining or reforming a wrongdoer. This is the reason why the Malaysian parents were found guilty.
So we have been discussing a lot about the Sweden case. So let's go back to what is happening in Malaysia. So I'm going to explain about the CRC relation with the East Malaysia and the West Malaysia cases. So in refugees issues, we have seen lots of refugees come from the Myanmar due to the cleansing of the ethnic. Refugees are not declared as those people who are receiving access like the local people. Yes, because the refugees are perceived as the illegal immigrants. Since Malaysia does not ratify the Convention for Refugee, which is the 1951 Refugee Convention, therefore, the refugees who sail to the Malaysian shoreline is not recognized by the government. Because we also need to admit that Malaysia is lack of resources. We are still struggling with the poor urbans, we are still struggling with the economic development. So perhaps that we could have the United States to meddle into this issue in terms of providing resources for the refugees and asylum seekers. Most of the issue is the stateless people. It is pretty much different to the West Malaysia. In Sabah, for example, we have stateless kids in Kampung Tanjung Layar, where this group of stateless people living without proper sanitation and proper documentation to explain where they come from. Normally, stateless people in Sabah is called as palao or pilak, which is quite offensive. But these people are denied access to education, to health, and many more. The social advocacy group SAG is an established group that promotes to the access of education for the Kampung Tanjung Layar kids Every Sunday, they will go to the settlement to teach the student to increase their literacy and numeracy skills.
Last but not least, suggestion to government about CRC. This can be done only if the government collaborate with school in Malaysia. Teacher should be able to recognize on problematic student in their classroom. The teacher should have the right to inform to the government. Hence, this could be one of the effective way to inspect on the student and their family as well. This to help the government on finding the truth on child abuse. Normally, we know that a victim, especially a children, will not have any courage to tell anyone that they are being abused by their family members. But a children will always believe the power of the teacher. In the other word, it was easy to use a teacher as a medium to find the truth than their family itself.
In a nutshell, the protection of children's rights must be promoted, enhanced, and emphasized as one of the main agenda in promoting human rights in the society that we lived in. It is not exclusive to the government. Rather, all of us, the individuals who make up the community, must stress and voice our view in tackling and handling the issues or events that are against the protections of children's rights.